So Yaniv gave us a lot of insights about what vSOC actually is and what's going on behind the scenes. And now we want to get into the platform a little bit more, the technology behind all of this. And now we have with us Orit. She's going to kind of dig down into the technical depths of what happens in the platform itself. So Orit, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you, John. Hi, I'm Orit. I'm the Director of Product of the Upstream platform. Happy to be here, John.
So Orit, tell us a little bit about Upstream's approach to protecting connected vehicles.
Okay, so we understand that once connectivity was introduced to vehicles, they are no longer isolated. And this gives opportunity to lots of services that can be applied, but it also surfaces a lot of attack vectors that were not present in the past. So what we want to do is not focus on the single asset and not just have the narrow point of view of a single vehicle, but we want to incorporate as much data sources as possible to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the state of the connected ecosystem that we want to protect. So we strive to get access to as many data sources as possible, data sources that are already being collected at the moment, and this gives us an understanding that can, when you look from a single asset perspective, you might see things that are completely legit, but when you cross-reference it with additional data sources, for instance, when we look at the applications or the application consumers, we can see things that are abnormal that we couldn't have spotted if we had used only the narrow viewpoint of the single vehicle. And this also gives us additional advantages because when we leverage the existing data, meaning that we are agentless. We don't require any changes introduced to the vehicle itself. Nothing is deployed to the vehicle itself, and we don't require any changes to the data architecture of the client because we are cloud agnostic and we can be deployed practically anywhere. And this gives the advantage of time to market because we can protect vehicles that are already on the road and we can be deployed relatively really fast when you think about the design and the deployment cycles of anything that you deploy to the vehicle. In addition, when you take into account smart cities, electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, in the future, much more components will be introduced to this connected ecosystem. And Upstream's approach gives us the flexibility of expanding in the future to cover those as well, to get access to EV charging stations, applications, and so on that will be introduced in those connected ecosystems.
Very good. Very nice. Thank you. I have a few more questions for you.
Sure.
You mentioned about sources, right? How does Upstream integrate its sources into the vSOC itself?
So we can collect data in multiple ways. It can be through mirroring. Customers can send us this information through existing frameworks like Event Hub or through Kinesis, Kafka topics, and so on.
Very cool. And is it all customer-related data, or is it also external data that's coming from maybe sources not specifically related to automotive? I'm thinking in the how to build situational awareness about what's going on at that particular time.
Yeah, so we have this cool concept of the digital twin, and that basically incorporates all the information that we have about an asset. It gives us the ability to ask at each point in time, what is the current state of this asset? So in addition to data like telemetry that we're collecting, we can also add external data to enrich what we know about this specific asset. And this can be traffic information, weather information, that helps us build a better understanding of the state and answer additional questions for detection.
Fantastic. Sounds so easy, right?
Yeah. It can be really complex, especially when you talk about the scale that we need to handle. We're monitoring over 10 million vehicles at the moment. So in addition to the fact that we need to incorporate multiple data sources, we also need to have the ability to have a condensed form of data that we can ask for detection in real time. And this is very challenging because sometimes we even ask questions like how many times a specific vehicle experienced an over-the-air update within the last month. So we have a whole month of data that we need to process in order to answer this question. And this is something that is eliminated by our condensed digital twin.
Amazing. And can you define for me a little bit about what a digital twin is?
Yeah. So as I said, it's a condensed form of data that we hold, which holds multiple types of data. First of all, everything that is coming from the data, raw data, things like speed, location, the model of the vehicle. In addition to that, we can apply logic in the platform to infer information. Inference can come in the form of formulas that are applied to calculate something, like the average speed within a specific journey. And it can be in the form of events. Events are important milestones that are not actionable on their own, but we want to have them as part of the digital twin to be able to ask additional questions as part of detection. For instance, how many times a vehicle experienced an over-the-air update within a certain time frame. So in order to avoid processing all that data, we're keeping this information of how many times it happened on the digital twin. Additionally, we add the external data points that help us enrich the data with additional information that gives us a better understanding of what is the current state of the asset.
Very nice. The platform sounds really cool, but you said 10 million vehicles. How scalable is this? I mean, if you think about 10 million vehicles and the amount of configurations that we have in every vehicle, how do we maintain this from a tooling perspective? How do we make sure that a platform like this is flexible?
So this is one of the challenges that we have because we understand that this is just the beginning. And eventually the environments that we need to monitor will be much larger. And this is the reason that the core architecture of the platform supports scaling up and scaling out.
So you spoke a little bit about assets. And assets are all of these different things that we have not only in the vehicle itself, but the connections between the vehicle and everything. What is the platform monitoring to make sure the entire environment is secure?
So when I talk about assets, the main assets that we are protecting are the vehicles, but we are also monitoring application consumers, the ones that apply either queries to the vehicles for data or even commands. And this gives us the ability to correlate between them and to see whether one of the application consumers is addressing multiple vehicles at the same time, or if there's a specific asset in the fleet that is being addressed by multiple consumers. And this gives us the understanding of what is going on in the connected ecosystem.
Amazing. Thank you very much.